This week in the world of news from books, beards, and brews. All right. As always, I'm Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
And I am everyone's favorite part, best part, awesome part, creative consultant Tanya.
That is bold. We'll
But
see.
accurate.
We'll see how it pans out for her.
Bold move, Cotton.
Bold
Let's
move.
see how it works out.
Yeah. All right. So first off, we got a little bit of business to take care of. So brand ambassador Ryan, who lives in roughly that part of the world, informed me that Regain.
Just in that part of the world.
Yeah.
The part
You
of the world?
didn't call him New Zealand brand ambassador. He's just brand ambassador.
Well, no, because it's
who lives in some part of the
If
world.
you would let me finish,
Okay.
you would understand.
It was confusing.
The part of the world relevant to what I'm about to say. Regain is Rogaine. That's its British name. So he says they sell
we
it.
knew that.
He
High
says that they
fives.
sell that in New Zealand, and it's Regain, not Rogaine. So apparently there are no O's in Britain. Who knew? So yeah.
What?
I don't
I don't think that's a thing.
I think
No,
so. I mean,
it's
why
not.
else would you change the name? There's no O's in Britain. There's no O in Great Britain.
Cheerio. Tip top with an O.
But that's old words. They probably got rid of the O in like the late. Margaret Thatcher probably got rid of the O. I feel like that's probably what happened. Don't lock me in on that, but I'm pretty sure that Great Britain under the Thatcher leadership got rid of the O.
I'm gonna need you to tighten the fuck up. And
You know what doesn't have You know what doesn't have an O in it? Tighten the fuck up. No O's in that.
I will
tighten the
say-
fuck oop.
There we go.
Brexit doesn't have an O in it either.
Yeah. Maybe
Neither-
it's an EU thing. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're trying to leave the EU to get
the
their O back.
EU kicked out the O because it's like vowel-side.
Yeah. Pretty
Why?
sure.
Why you would ask? Maybe.
Sometimes. Why?
Y'all are dumb.
So yeah, that's
Yes.
yes.
What the fuck?
So exciting news.
Still doesn't have an O in it.
Yeah, Ryan is going to be picking out our next group read.
Bet you it has an O in that.
It does.
Yeah, that's
it
why
does.
I said it.
It's got 2 O's. It's Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. But don't worry, you've got like
You can
6.
spell it with a U with an umlaut.
Yeah, be very metal that way.
Or German.
Sure. But
Deutsch.
Two ways of saying the
but
same
you've got
thing.
like 5 months to read it because Jade City comes out this month, and then you've got 2 months to read The Narrows by Travis Riddle, and then after that it's Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. Yay! And he got that because he's a Patreon supporter.
Yay.
You could be getting your name tossed around all willy-nilly like this if you were a Patreon supporter.
If you were a super fan.
Well, speaking of super fans, we have a new super fan.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm not it's Bud. Yeah. And he sent
Does
us
he
a
go by Bud?
Not anymore.
I don't think he goes by Bud anymore.
I don't
Bud
this
was
is
his college name.
This is
He has
no,
a
stop.
big man name.
Stop.
What
That has an O in it.
is he
I'm gonna come
Stop.
across this table
What is he
at you.
what does he go up by
He
now?
goes by Jonathan.
He has
okay.
He has a name.
Not John.
Well,
Just
he goes
John?
by John, but
John?
I mean, I'm just look. I don't care what people call him. I call him Bud.
Yes.
And I always will.
Yeah, even on the email it has Bud.
Don't care.
Well, it's
So the
he's
email
talking
has,
to us.
Email has Bud. So
He's
yeah,
talking to
it's,
us.
It's Bud. Superfan Bud.
John.
Superfan Bud.
I see you. I respect
Cole
the
the
name that you
Conqueror?
want to be
Got
called.
it.
Yeah, Call the Conqueror. All right, no. Anyway, so he sent us a charming email. Opened it up, said, I recently got caught up on season 3 after finding out it was actually in podcast form and downloading it all before going on a camping trip up into the Redwoods. Wow. Just wow. You fuckers are something else.
Yay! I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah. So he said he wanted...
I've met him. It probably wasn't.
So if you remember, we did the book video game episode.
Yeah.
He had a suggestion. So, did either of y'all ever play the Max Payne games?
Yeah.
I did not. But he wants a Dresden Files Max Payne game. He said, and I quote, Max Payne style Dresden Files would be amazeballs. You could go open world Witcher GTA style, but I think the Max Payne motif would fit nicely with the Dresden universe. I know Bob didn't enjoy the first couple of books, but I didn't have the same problem, and I have enjoyed the entire 14 audiobook series. So,
see,
yeah.
More proof that you're just wrong about everything, Bob.
Well, and he had some other stuff to say, cut for time, but he did say this. Creative Consultant Tanya is a great title. It gives the podcast a campy and honest feel, which I think is pretty much the bread and butter of it.
Yay.
Also,
See, again, best.
Also,
me.
we can totally hear if you dance along with it or not.
Yep.
It's true.
And you didn't dance. I don't think they. So there you go.
It's
Again,
like
it's all the time, yeah.
it's like you don't even
Yeah,
care.
you got a little jig that time.
I'm
There
gonna
we
need
go.
you to put in some
I'm
effort.
wearing like my suspenders and everything.
Yeah, but you can't put your thumbs
Wait,
in.
if I wear, do you remember way back?
Yeah.
Beep, 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 way back machine. If I wear suspenders, I get to be investor Tanya.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say prospector Tanya,
Yeah,
but we're
well.
not a mining railroad.
No,
But we do get railroaded sometimes.
Oh, but Derek does have on his railroad hat.
Yes, I do.
So,
Choo choo.
so yeah. So let's
the
dive.
prettiest part of my whole trip.
Let's dive into the news.
Yes.
All right, this headline is.
Thanks for being a super fan.
Yeah, thank you for being a super fan. He'll be picking out our next book after Blood Meridian.
I thought you were gonna say he will be visiting, and I was like,
Yeah,
yay!
you should.
Right?
So this headline is
Bud.
Theron for me.
Oh, so like the one for me, but Theron.
Yeah,
Charlize
Theron is apparently ready to get back out dating again. I didn't
Ooh.
know she wasn't, but
'Cause-
you know me, I keep up with celebrities.
Oh yeah, that's
But here's what she said. She's keen to find and I quote, a good human who can grow a good beard.
Why'd she say the same thing twice?
Right? I don't know. It's kind of, I guess she's maybe.
Don't explain what's
a
wrong with this.
It's a South African thing, I guess. But she says it depends on the guy. A man that can grow a good beard. I don't want guys who don't grow good beards to grow beards like those patchy ones. I'm not a fan of that. So
I
she
hear
wants a.
you. I see you. Your opinions are valid.
I-
But also, guys with scraggle beards, I see you. Your struggle is valid.
Yeah, and we'll just throw some regain, Rogaine, depending on if you have O's. You know,
Just stop.
I think what happened is all of the O's that would have been in the Rogaine got put in boxes and then we eat them for breakfast.
Cheerios. Yeah,
Pip pip. Cheerios.
maybe someone just took a whole bunch of their when they were throwing all the tea into Boston Harbor. Maybe all the O's. Maybe they
Okay.
had crates of O's.
I need you guys
They
to
put them
all.
in cans and put them in spaghetti sauce.
You guys,
This is what's happening.
You guys all need to support us on Patreon so that I can make money to get the fuck away from these two.
That's fair. That's fair. This headline is out of this world. This is very local news, but really exciting. Interstellar, our friends at Interstellar, signed with Bama Bud. And
Yeah.
they've started bottling Sunspot and Ginger Colada. Ginger Colada is in
Which
my.
one's Sunspot? Is that
They're the one that's kind of like almost like an alcoholic Mountain Dew.
I don't know that I've had
I
that.
liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, I haven't
if you've
had
ever
that.
had a Not Your Father's like Mountain Ale or whatever, like they're Not Your Father's does a
Yeah, I've had
knockoff
their
Mountain
root
Dew,
beers, but I haven't had
Yeah,
their Mountain Dew.
They do like a knockoff alcoholic Mountain Dew.
I am
Sunspot
intrigued.
tastes like that.
I would like
It's good.
this. Okay.
So their bottle, but Ginger Colada to me is still my favorite of their non-seasonals.
Mine was
And-
the mojito one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they've always been bottling the First Contact, but
Right.
now they're bottling Ginger Colada and Sunspot, and so you're going to be able to start getting that all around this area.
That's exciting because
So-
I'm so.
Montgomery regional area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Well,
there's a place,
Birmingham for them, I guess.
there's a place near here that I can get
Renfro's,
it, but but I just don't go there
But
often.
Dirks,
so if
Dirks has it. It's going to start cropping up a lot more because now it's
yeah, but if it started showing up in Walmart, that would help me out a lot.
well, it is being distributed through Bama Bud now
hopefully-
because they were
Might.
being distributed by a small distributor. Now they're with Bama Bud. That's big dog. They'll be popping up a lot of places
That's
now.
awesome.
Good for them.
Yeah. All right.
Good for
So this
me.
one.
Yeah, good for the drinking
good-
public.
yeah,
'cause
good
it's
for us.
tasty.
All right. So this is like, I haven't had this nightmare yet, but I could totally see me having this nightmare. Okay. So this author this one is called Thrown to the Wolves. The headline, Thrown to the Wolves. So Naomi Wolf wrote a book. It's not out yet, but it's coming out, called Outrages, Sex, Censorship, and the Criminalization of Love. And so it talks about the persecution of homosexuality and the emerging gay identity in Victorian England.
Okay.
All right. So she wrote a whole book on this very specific topic, just like how Victorian England dealt with homosexuality and just all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So being gay was a prosecutable offense.
Correct.
All right. So she found all these records of men who had sex with men, resulting in a sentence of, and I quote, death recorded. So she writes this whole book about
Oh no,
guys getting killed literally for being homosexual. So she's on the news, like doing an interview about
Yep.
her book with a British guy, and he's like, well, He said, in her literal reading, Wolf thought these words, death recorded, meant the men had been executed, when in fact it meant the opposite. It meant that they had been spared execution by the judge.
Yeah.
Death recorded was a thing that they wrote into the law so a judge could just drop that in, like give that, so to not execute them.
Oh,
And
God, so
didn't-
she outed all these people?
No. Well, these people have been dead 150
okay.
years.
But that was
But her whole book is predicated on this idea of all these men
Being executed.
were being executed,
But they weren't.
And so she's on the BBC, and the host Matthew Sweet is like, he's like, I don't think any of these executions that you've identified here actually happened. And she's like, well, it said death recorded. He's like, yeah, but death recorded doesn't mean executed. Death recorded means the opposite of that. And I watched this clip. You see her face just kind of like go, oh, fuck. And she tries to cover, but at that point, I mean, she's fucked. She's fucked. The book comes out like in a month or two.
how, like, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but like, if you're writing a book, I feel like you did a lot of research on this. How do you?
Well, I think from what I was reading, this is a little bit outside of her wheelhouse. She normally, like, she's written books before, I think, but this is not the kind of stuff that she normally writes. And she was really doing, and from what I was reading, she did a lot of the research herself instead of like relying on other people who have done research here. And so I think she just, because she was, if you're doing all the research yourself and not reading other people who know this better than you, and you just, I would do that. If I saw death recorded, I'd be like, oh, well, shit. I say he did. And, but yeah.
So they would write down death recorded as a technicality, but not actually kill these people?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically.
Well,
It was,
then why even have the rule at that point?
well, I don't know. I guess if we read the book, maybe we would better understand.
Would we? Because she
Yeah,
didn't
would we,
really
though?
understand.
Yeah,
Poor
I-
kid.
I don't know.
No, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough break.
Poor lady.
That-
Poor
that's
lady.
that's harsh. All right.
I feel like I've been that in college writing papers or like, and I realize it too late. And I'm like, I'm just going to figure out a way to bullshit my way
Yeah,
out because now I have figured it out.
I'm 3.5 pages into a 5-page paper that's due tomorrow, and I realize my entire premise is wrong. Well, let's see if we can't get this square peg into this round hole after all.
Exactly.
I've never done that.
Oh, I bet.
Shoot.
All right. So this headline is, it's time we moved pasta this.
Oh, I want, Olive Garden has buy one, take one pastas
Yo,
right
I could
now.
I had
I
Olive
could fuck with some
Garden for the
pasta.
first time in a while when I went car shopping on Monday.
Yeah. I'm
Surprise
I
to
got
all of our
time.
listeners.
I got time.
I'm hungry.
Everyone here is shocked.
Surprise.
Right.
Y'all send me some snacks.
I tried to give you food.
I don't
Tried to
want
give her
pretzels.
All right.
I'm not a bird.
On topic. So, all right. So we've been doing a lot. We've covered numerous topics over the years of over the year of guys with beards trying to get like religious exemptions and stuff like
Yeah.
that for their beards, and like in the military. So, the army started letting Sikhs have beards. All right, religious exemption. Well, so then a Norse pagan got a religious exemption. And so, but that kind of, at that point, all right, so it says in April of 2018, a heathen soldier applied for an exemption under the updated policy and was approved for a beard waiver in accordance with his faith. The quote from Colonel Curtis Schroeder on the form said, I grant your accommodation subject to the standards and limitations described below. Which is basically, you can have a beard, it's got to be tidy. Well, the thing is, in the Norse pagan faith, you may wear, beards are cool, but it's not it's not required, It's not like in, Hasidic Judaism that requires a beard, or Sikhs that require a beard.
Right.
It's just encouraged. It's not required. So they allowed it, which was kind of opened up a can of worms. Or in this case, a box of pasta. Because
Noodly appendages.
Yes.
Yep, saw that coming.
Specialist John Hoskins applied for a beard exemption as part of his strict devotion to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. And it got denied because, but it made it all the way to the deputy chief of staff before it was finally denied. But they were basically like, yeah, we just don't think this is serious, which
It wasn't.
it wasn't. But I just love Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. It's great. I love what they're about. So,
I've been touched by his noodly
noodly appendage. Pirates cause global warming. Or the lack of pirates causes global warming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Need more pirates.
All right. Last bit of news that I have.
Derek looks like he hates us at this moment.
Probably.
No more than normal.
Oh, okay.
That's a lie.
So this one's called A River Runs Through It. Did you know that Birmingham has a legendary mythical river that flows beneath it?
What?
Is it full of poop? Because I kind of feel like if there's a river in Birmingham, it's probably...
What even are you?
Hungry is what I am.
No,
Feeling lucky.
An underground river. So apparently for like over 100 years, there's been this like myth that there's a river flowing beneath Birmingham. Why that's relevant is because the Dread River Distilling Company.
Oh yes.
Is opening it's actually open. They've had 2 grand opening tasting nights, and of course both were on nights that I worked, so I couldn't go. Otherwise I would have fucking been there.
Yeah.
But it's open on Southside Montgomery.
Montgomery?
Or Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 24,000 square foot location. It's going to have a tasting room, an event space.
So they're actually like distilling and brewing there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll go to their Instagram. It's like you can see all the pictures. Customers, you can go there. You'll be allowed to purchase up to 3 bottles of spirits per day. I don't know why 3, but that's probably some stupid...
Because it's a fantastic number, Bob.
Well, I think it's a stupid Alabama law. Because remember we met that guy at... who was... Interstellar, who was with George Gibson.
Yeah.
And he said that he would go to George Gibson and buy 3 bottles every day. And then at the end of the week, he'd go pick them all up and then take them out to sell, kind of deal, to help George Gibson get... Because to be in an ABC store, you have to sell 2,000 bottles. So I'm guessing Dread River is not in ABC stores yet, and they're trying to get that. But I'm betting there's some stupid Alabama law that says you can only sell 3 bottles of liquor to 1 individual per day.
I choose to
because otherwise you opens the door to the devils.
I guess.
I feel as if we're going to look at this in a positive light.
You get 3 because of the Holy Trinity. 1 for...
1 for me, 1 for you, pouring out 1 for our dead homies?
Sure. Because I got hung up on a ghost, and a dad. I don't know.
Wow.
A dead guy.
Wow. So, all right.
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Patrons who visit the
moment.
tasting room will be able to enjoy their libations neat or in a cocktail. They'll have a 5,000 square foot bar complete with a cocktail menu and light food. They'll have a full service catering kitchen and an event space. So they are also making more stuff than just like hard spirits. They're also doing small quantities of wine and beer because they said you can't have a wedding reception if we don't have beer and wine. So we decided to make small quantities. We kind of wanted to run the gamut and provide our customers with a wide range of products rather than focusing specifically on whiskey or any one thing. Plus, whiskey takes a while to age.
I don't know. Maybe if they think that they can't have whiskey weddings, maybe they don't know the people that you know.
Right. Yeah, no, I could have a whiskey wedding, and because like the people who don't drink that I know, they just wouldn't drink, and the people that do drink, they'll either tough it out or shut the fuck up. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. The pictures look amazing, and I want to go up there for a tasting, but I don't think they have a set like
not ready for that yet.
I don't think they have a set tour schedule yet because I think they're still like that was like their grand opening. I don't know that they're like officially open like every day for business kind of deal. So, but it looks fantastic. Like
Not
just
open
looking
to the public yet.
Yeah, just looking at the Instagram, like oh man, looks great. Super hyped to go up there, and you know. Looking for sponsors, Dread River. Did I say that out loud? Sorry.
No, they probably couldn't understand you because you coughed.
Oh,
have you considered not coughing?
That's weird.
I too would like for them to sponsor us.
There we go.
Because then I feel like I could wear a pirate hat.
What?
Well, so the
Dread
Dread River is a reference to this mythical river
pirate
that flows
Well,
under Birmingham.
I get
is
that,
where the name
but-
comes from.
But
Dread pirate Tanya's.
Tanya, what's stopping you from wearing a fucking
Pirate hat now.
right now?
Nothing.
The fact that you don't have one.
Yeah.
That is it.
The rain.
Lack of initiative.
There we go.
Yes.
Because the
Truth.
rain, the pirate hat would actually help with the rain.
100%.
Yeah. So that's.
It wouldn't
wrong.
go with my suspender shirt.
Or maybe
I don't think.
it would.
I don't
What
think the
does?
suspender shirt goes with anything. So.
I think it doesn't. Nothing doesn't go with the suspender
you, Derek.
shirt. I mean,
Okay.
that's-
Yeah. All right.
It's my lucky
I
shirt.
stand corrected. All right. So Derek, I understand that you have a buy or sell for us
I
today.
do. Buy or sell. Okay. For those of
I feel like we need stock market sounds.
Well, you talk to that one over there.
No, not ticker tapes, but just like
Well, what's the
cacophony of people.
Oh, to put in the background.
Like a market.
Yeah,
market
like
noises.
People talking in the background while we're buying or selling. Anyways.
Buy, sell.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
We'll just like...
Or just, like I'm beating my chest like the Wolf of Wall Street thing. I saw that movie like one time, and I knew they did that thing, and they were doing like...
I have, and I don't remember this at all.
Oh, that's like the iconic scene. That's the only scene I remember, other than Leonardo DiCaprio crawling across the floor to shove his face in that one lady's vagina.
To be fair, that's a good, memorable scene. She's attractive.
So buy or sell.
Is it Margot Robbie?
Yeah, Margot Robbie, yeah.
So
She looks just like Jamie What's-Her-Face.
Let Derek do his buy or sell.
Sorry.
Damn.
I mean, at this point, how do you compete with... What's her name? She kind of looks like... What's her... Also, what's her name?
Y'all brought me on this podcast on purpose.
And I'm saying this in all honesty, we're thankful every day while simultaneously filled with an equal amount of regret.
Regrets.
Okay.
Okay, Derek.
So buy or sell. For those who don't remember what this is, I'm going to take out all the identifiable bits of a book, try and describe it to you, and then out of the three, you will tell me which one you like most, one, and whether or not you'd buy or sell. And you can't just, I will read all of them.
Yeah, you have to be discerning. So, because normally I just be like, fuck it, I'll read that.
99 cents, I'll buy that.
Bob would read all of
Yeah,
the
Tanya
things.
sent me like a picture from the thrift store where she's like, oh, these were only like 99 cents, but it's like the fourth book in the Kuchil's Dart series.
Hey, no, it's the third one. I have the first one. I have the first one already, and I have a credit to buy the second one. You've listened to the second one, haven't you?
First one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I got it because...
It was a weird thing. I was like, oh, well, cool, you got the third book in that series.
I know,
don't think you
it's
have
the
books
third one.
Are you seriously saying, Bob? I've known you to buy
was such
the
a good
fifth
deal.
book in a series and then be like, "Don't worry, I'll find the
It was
others."
only $1.
Well, I go to at that time in my life, I went to thrift stores a lot more than she does. There's a better likelihood.
You don't know that.
We'll talk. I don't want to be we'll talk about it off air, but I have been going heavy into
too
Facebook
much.
thrifting, so I think this is going to be a hobby for me instead of going to Michael's.
Good.
Oh,
this is
God.
not
All
good.
right, Derek, I want to
Sell
buy
me
and sell some
something,
books.
Derek.
Okay, so the best part about this is that Bob is going to hate this.
Okay.
So
Love it.
buy or sell. Well, he might. Anyways, buy or sell. 3 books. Book 1. The world is on the verge of erupting into chaos as new ambition is used by dark forces to settle old grievances long since thought buried. Unfortunately, those in power across the land recognize the time of change and see opportunity in this upheaval. Whether for personal gain or altruism, numerous factions believe only they know the true way to steer the world. Swept up into events far beyond their understanding, a group of people from around the world must connect the stray threads of events in an attempt to piece together what is happening if they hope to stop a prophesied doom from coming to pass. That is book 1.
Is that Wheel of Time?
We'll discuss it later.
I'm going to say...
Can you give me is this like a really thick book? Okay, here's the thing. I like the premise, but if it's going to be like over 700 pages, I want to be out.
I'm going to say soft buy, but very soft.
Okay.
Very, very soft.
I kind of think that's where I'm at as well.
Okay.
I would hold it. I'm going to carry it around in the store.
It's intriguing, but like basically you've stripped so much of it out.
Right.
That like it's kind of generic at that point. So like, okay, depending on what flair they put on this bitch, I'm in.
Okay. I'm going to hold this in my hand while I read the
Look
other
at
two
the
books.
next 2 books.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'm
I'm
at,
going to hold this in my hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not
it's
definitely
it's
setting it down.
It's in the basket, but we haven't checked out yet.
Okay.
We could take it back.
Okay.
Yeah. So, book 2. Shadowy organizations lurk on the outskirts of a war that is little more than a game. In a world of untamed fury, both natural and man-made, disparate individuals with their own desires and goals begin to converge. Some seek absolution, some hope, and others truth as they try desperately to salvage their lives while riding out the storms of change, beginning to sweep the world. But the threat is bigger than all of them, and if the greatest army in the world cannot be convinced to cease its foolish, bloody war games, humanity may be lost forever.
I think I want this.
Hard buy, but I think I know what book it is. All
I
right,
think I
so
want that.
at the end, I'll throw out my guess on what all these books are.
Shadow organizations and war and shit.
Hard
in.
buy.
Okay.
Hard
buy.
Even if it's not the book I think it is, it just sounds badass.
Okay.
So.
And now book 3. To avoid a royal marriage arranged by their stern yet loving parent, the main character instead chooses flight into self-imposed exile. Cut off from home by unforeseen events, a rival power sees this as an opportunity to strike at the protagonist as they know the threat that they will become in the world at large. Unable to turn back and unsure of where to go, the protagonist must find a way to carve out a new place in the world for people like them or be crushed by the world around them.
Okay, first book. Oh, this book. I have a slight deal where I don't really like books that center around arranged marriages. Like just that whole that concept to me is always just like, even when I was a little kid, that just seemed like such a dumb idea. Like anything like where arranged marriages play a central role has kind of gotten on my nerves a little bit. So I'm going to say soft sell. It sounds kind of intriguing. I would just need to know more. So I'm going to say soft sell on this one. It's my least favorite of the 3.
Okay.
I want book 2. I want book 3, and I would borrow from someone else book 1.
Okay.
Okay, I think book 1 is Wheel of Time. Mm-hmm. I think book 2 is the first Stormlight Archive. Mm-hmm. And book 3, I'm going to guess, is a Feist book, just at a guess.
So book 1 is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan.
Nice. Wheel of Time. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Book 2 is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
I knew I'd given that one away, but I didn't.
I was like, I kind of thought, and then when you said Storm, I was like, oh, yeah, it's
I've
Stormlight.
decided to start putting in hints.
Yeah.
And then the last one is The Towers of Sunset by L.E. Modisette Jr.
You know, I almost said Recluse. I almost said a Recluse book, but I was like, I just don't know enough. So
this book, that book, the reason I described it the way it is, like the arranged marriage is just the
instigating factor. Yeah.
And then the rest of the book is about the main character running the fuck away and eventually being like, I don't really have anywhere else to go, so he makes Recluse.
Okay. Yeah. No, that.
But
then, so yeah, now that I know what they are, definitely still hard buy on the first one, or on book 2.
One, yeah.
Book 3 is a soft buy.
One of these days I'm going to get you to read that book.
So, I've read some Recluse.
You've read the first book.
I read Magic of Recluse, yeah. And the first book is put on fire. Like burn on top of a pile of 13 other very
Bob's got
to
to get rid of it because it's just too good. He can't have it in this world.
I am weirdly hyped though for the
TV show.
For the TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll save it. Maybe they'll redeem it. Actually, I think the TV show format is probably going to eliminate a lot of my problems with the book. Like if they just stick to the book very closely, but just tighten it up for TV.
They're not going to.
That'd be great. So
we'll discuss that at a later date because
we got to see. I'll say Brandon Sanderson came out and he's read the first script and he seemed to really like it. So
yeah.
So and I'll trust his opinion.
But
on that.
The things that you don't like about the series aren't the same thing that he is necessarily referencing, so he could still think it's a good thing, and they could still do the thing that you don't
I'll be honest, like my problem with that series is not the first book.
I know.
My problem with that series is it should have been 10 books long, and he shouldn't have been pushing so like his reaction to like how women were portrayed. I think he overreacted to trying like, oh, I'm trying to do it different, and he just took it too far. Kind of deal is like my 2 big problems with that, and I don't know. We'll see. Like, yeah.
So I discovered with this that it's very difficult to do epic series because then what do? Because
do you talk about the whole series or just the first book?
Even more, what do? Do you pick a single of the main characters and build the... See, that was the thing I had a problem with. I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do for Way of Kings?
Yeah.
Because none of the main characters are really any less of a main character than any of the others.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, how do I...
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you need to read Way of Kings, but you should probably just do what I'm doing and wait till they're all out and then read them.
Sanderson?
Yeah.
I like Sanderson.
It's his 10 book high fantasy. Well, actually, no. What you should do and what I'm going to do now, I'm waiting. I just learned, I probably had been told this repeatedly, but I just learned that it's really the first 5 books are one arc and the second 5 books are a second arc.
So just read the first 5 and wait.
So I'm going to read the first 5, wait, then read the second 5.
Okay.
I think.
One of these days I'll make it through the third one.
Yeah.
It was...
So, yeah. That's our news.
I like it.
In the coming week...
I hope a tree doesn't fall in your house.
Oh, God, man. It's Storm of the Century. One of the houses I was seriously considering buying, a tree fell on it. So, clearly I made the right choice.
In that tree's defense, that house was overpriced.
It was overpriced.
Stupidly overpriced.
That's why I didn't
like
buy it.
$20,000 overpriced for the road that it's on, not just the neighborhood.
No, it's about $10,000 overpriced for the
They
road.
had it priced at like 60.
Yeah, and
your house was like 40.
It sold for 47, and the house across the street.
Why are we talking about
50.
this on air?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
She's wrong. And it's not. It was overpriced, but not that overpriced.
What happened is like
a tree fell on it.
I wished like he was having a bad day, and I was like, "This is when we turn down the road, and there's a tree on her house." We turned down the road, and like, holy shit, there's trees down. I was just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, so in the coming week, as you encounter little rain puddles with their little pitter-patter of raindrops, I hope that you see pleasing reflections of yourself, your smiling face, as you bounce along under your gaily painted umbrella, and may the blessing of the beard be upon you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.